So what do? When your battery is fully charged at 10 a.m. in the morning already, your water has already heated up to 65 degrees. The pool pump is running for 24/7 and the car is already fully charged. And you still have so much excess energy. What do you do with it? Exactly. Yeah, you can hear this high-pitched humming in the background. That's the Bitcoin miner. And this is where I dump all my excess energy at the moment. Guys, and welcome back to the Off-Grid Garage here in sunny, hot Australia. 32 degrees today. Beautiful, nice, sunny weather. It is afternoon. And we probably cannot see any car now. We've got 0 amps outside. The green float lights are on since 10 a.m. in the morning. And usually you would say, when your batteries are full, your water is hot and your car is charged, you export the rest of your energy to the grid. And you may or may not get paid for it, but at least this is where energy goes. So what do you do when you're off-grid though? There is nothing to export. So either you use the energy yourself or you will have 0 amps outside. Yeah guys, and this is something I'm exploring for a while. I'm testing this at the moment here. Is it a viable solution to use a Bitcoin miner to burn off all this energy and get paid as well? Because some days, like today, there is nothing I can do with all this energy. We have had the washing machine and the dishwasher running this morning already, so everything is basically done. Is it still worth, in 2023, to use a Bitcoin miner to burn off excess energy from your solar battery installation? Well, first of all, let's get this thing here on the workbench. So my friends, here's my rig. And this is the Antminer T15. And this is a 23 terahash machine. If you have all 3 cards installed. See this one? This one has only 1 hash board installed, but there are slots for 2 more. Well, there's a bit of a story to that. When I bought this one here a year ago on AliExpress, it was delivered with 3 hash cards, and I was really excited because this was supposed to be the solution to get rid of all my energy in summertime. You know, mining Bitcoin, making some money. Well, I unpacked it, connected it, configured the web server, and everything was running fine. But because it produced so much heat and noise, I turned it off overnight. And then the next morning, I wanted to have another play with it, look at it in all details, and it wouldn't fire anymore. It would start up, making all the noise, but it wouldn't connect to any services. There are no lights. So I got in contact with the seller and say, hey, your machine is not working. It has arrived that it worked once for an hour and then never again. So we did some troubleshooting for about a week, tested different things, connected cables, replaced cables, removed all the hash boards and let it run with only 1 in different slots. And then we could find out that 2 of the hash boards obviously were not working because the machine is working fine with this 1 hash board installed. So they sent me a new power supply. Yeah, this is the power supply here at the side. This is where your power plugs in, and then it delivers around 29 volts here with these 2 bus bars to your hash boards. Because these suckers, they used a lot of power. But hey, that's the whole purpose of it, right? So anyway, 2 weeks later, the new power supply arrived. I replaced the existing one with a new one. And guess what? The same problem again. It didn't want to fire with all 3 cards, not even with 2, just with 1. And to be honest, only with this one. The other 2 wouldn't work at all. And I also locked a ticket with AliExpress because the time was running out when I could actually do such a complaint. Because I paid $450 for this machine, including shipping. Of course, they are all used, but it was not a problem. It was mentioned in the product description, but I was expecting it would last a bit longer than only 1 day. So anyway, AliExpress stepped in and said, okay, the machine is not working 100%, but it is working. And they suggested a 50% discount or refund for this machine from the seller. And first I said, nah, that's not good enough, you know, because it runs only on 1/3. I want 2/3 of my money back. But the seller didn't agree, and AliExpress said, okay, we can only offer 50% for this machine. What do you want to do? So I got back to the seller, and he sent me documentation, like an 80-page document in Chinese English, how to repair these hash boards. Obviously, you can see these heat sinks up there, and under each heat sink is a little processor. And these are calculating the hash sum. Well, or something like this. But there was no way for me to actually repair these hash boards because it was an 80-page document to go through, and I neither had the time nor the interest to actually repair them myself. So then the seller offered, okay, send us these 2 hash boards back to China, we repair them for you and send them back for free. So I put these 2 hash boards and the faulty power supply into a parcel, paid $90 for Australia Post to send it back to China. And a week later they arrived at the seller's place. And then I didn't hear back for a week from them. I sent them messages through the chat on AliExpress, but never heard back from them. So eventually I took the offer from AliExpress and applied for this 50% discount. I had the money within 1 hour on my PayPal account. So I paid only $250 for this stuff. 1 hash board, but a working machine. And then the seller got back to me and said, well, we cannot repair these things for free anymore because you have taken up this offer now from AliExpress. And we are now $240 short. And I said, well, you have offered to repair them and send them back for free. This was included in our deal. And they replied and said, well, they would have done it if I have not taken on this offer. So there was nothing I could do anymore. AliExpress wouldn't step in anymore because I had already taken up this offer for a 50% discount for this machine. Well, you can buy these hash boards for this machine here for $140 on AliExpress, including shipping. So I was thinking of getting 2 new ones to complete this machine again here. But then I said, well, let's leave it running for a while and see how much money you can actually make from it. Because now it is making only 1/3 of the possible profit. And this is a very, very simple setup here. We have a control mainboard under this cover. It has an SD card slot for firmware updates, an IP request button for your network, an Ethernet port to connect to your router, a reset button, and 2 lights, fault and normal. And here on the other side, it connects to each of the hash boards as well as controls your power supply. And this then turns on the power supply gradually to supply power with these bus bars to your hash boards. And you have to log into the web server here and configure this. So all the money it makes goes actually into your wallet. And then obviously you've got these fans for the power supplies. They're running in full speed all the time. And these ones are controlled by the main board as well. So they have a variable speed here depending on the heat situation inside this box. Yeah, and as you have seen, then it sucks in all kind of insects and everything and dries them out inside. I think this is the main purpose of this box, to catch insects. But you also have seen where it is, right? It is installed in the garden toilet. I had it here running inside the garage, but it was too loud and it heated up the whole garage, even with only 1 hash board installed. This system, how it is right now here, is already 650 watts of electrical power, and most of it will be converted in heat. And what I have just done is using an old router here configured as a Wi-Fi client, and this plugs into the Ethernet port of the Bitcoin miner, and then this one connects to my Wi-Fi and it gets internet access to mine all the big money into my wallet. Yes, well, this is a virtual wallet. I'll show you more about this in a second. So usually I leave this on top of it here, so it's 1 unit. And then you plug in the Bitcoin miner and your router into power. And that's all you need to do. As soon as it gets power, the circuit board runs up. There's a very small version of a Linux system running on it. And this does all the connection between the cloud and your machine here. And it shows you also temperatures and voltages and all kind of statistics about the machine. 95% of that I don't understand. But as long as this green light is flashing there, everything is good and it's working. Okay, are you ready? So that's how it starts up. This is the fan situation of the power supply. The other two fans are on as well, but are idling. And now we have to wait for the Linux system to run up and connect to my wallet. 20 watts at the moment. A lot of wind. See, the green light is not on yet. It is still starting up. See how the power usage goes up and down? It is testing the hashboard now with different frequencies and see how far it can push it. So now the light is flashing. It's making money now. 599 watts. It will still ramp up the frequency a little bit. So it goes up to 640, 650 watts. And then it stays there 24/7 until you disconnect it. And you can hear the fans going nuts. They're ramping up and down depending on the temperature. See, now it goes down. 77 decibel of this noise. I mean, I need to leave the garage to make this video here. So let's say this machine has a power consumption of 600 watts. If you run this for 24 hours, this is 14.4 kilowatt hours per day. 14.4 kilowatt hours. This is over 430 kilowatt hours per month, or 5,256 kilowatt hours per year. 5 megawatt hours for this one machine with only one hashboard, right? Remember, this is only 1/3 of the capability of this machine. So if you would need to pay for this power, and with an average power price down here in Australia of about 30 cents per kilowatt hour at the moment, this would cost you $4.32 per day just to run this machine. But how much money does it actually make you? So I am now logged into my NiceHash portal, and when we have a look at these statistics, we can see this machine makes me a profit of 84 cents per day. Estimated, because this goes up and down depending on the performance of the machine, and it is still a bit low here because we have just restarted the machine, and it takes a while to get the estimate correct again. Battery of the camera was empty. Okay, so now it has went down again to 67 cents, but again it will establish, but between 60 cents and about $1 per day for this machine. So this sounds terrible, right? So if we have a look at the, how can I see that? Hang on. Ah yeah, here it gives you a bit of a statistics. So at the moment, this machine would make me $4.71 per week. Per week? Remember, we have just found out that it costs $4.32 per day just to run. And this is the income per week. And the yearly income would be $245 at this hash rate, what it does at the moment. Yeah, geht gleich, yeah. So this again sounds terrible, right? But considering I paid only $240 for the whole machine because I got the 50% discount after all this trouble I had with it, and the machine makes me $240 a year, well, I will have my money back after a year. So it's actually not too bad, but only because I'm not paying anything for power. Nothing. And if we go back, so these are the overall assets this machine made me so far. It's $123.15 since I set up this account with NiceHash and the machine was running. And this is 100% in Bitcoin. So it sits here in my electronic wallet and, well, I can make payments with Bitcoin from this wallet now. Okay, let's go back inside the garage. Oh, we've just sunset. Okay, I think we will calibrate a ice cold spat now because it is just the time. By the way, guys, thank you so much for all your generous donations here on the channel. Buying me a beer here in sunny hot Australia. As you can see, I really need it. So thank you very much for your generous donations here. There's always a buy me a beer link down under each video. And a special thank goes to all the people who are donating on a regular base. For example, Andrew from the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, who is doing this for the last 2 years. Thank you very much, Andrew. I really appreciate your support. So now the profit has gone up to $1.18 per day estimated. That is pretty good. Okay, the video now turns into a late night show, and I've also banned the miner back into the garden toilet where it belongs because it is just so loud. I don't have any excess energy during winter time, for example, so I use it all myself. It would be stupid to run the Bitcoin miner as well then. And there's no excess energy left for the Bitcoin miner. But now it is running for the last, I would say, 3 months. Yeah, 3.5 months now. And I had it turn on here and there before that. So all in total, $123, which is half of what I paid for. But is it really worth doing it? And using your excess solar to mine for Bitcoins? Well, if you are grid connected and have a contract with your energy supplier, you can of course export the energy then. And here in Australia, you would probably get like 5 cents per kilowatt hour at the moment. So if you have these 14.4 kilowatt hours left per day and you export this would give you like 72 cents per day what your retailer pays you for the energy you have exported to the grid. Well, and if I can make $1 by mining Bitcoins, this is still interesting to do. Of course, this is only from a pure financial perspective, right? From an ecological perspective, this is absolutely bonker madness. You are burning through over 14 kilowatt hours per day just to get rid of it because it is excess for you, instead of feeding it back to the grid so it can be used by others in the community, which would also reduce the energy production of fossil fuel powered plants, mainly coal and gas. So as you can see, there's a bit to consider before you actually buy a mining rig and get rid of your excess energy. If you don't pay anything for the power, yes, it is still viable. It is still making you money. But then thinking about 15 megawatt hours per year, which such an old machine burns over this time frame, it is absolutely madness. So guys, I would really like to hear from you. How do you get rid of excess energy in your system then, if you are on grid or off grid? Most likely you will just export the energy to the grid. But if you're off grid, what are you doing? Is your system shutting down? Are you mining for Bitcoins as well? So let me know in the comments down below what options you have found. Whoa, it just jumped to $1.34. Getting rich, guys. Okay, so now I have found another possibility to get rid of this energy here. I have ordered the part already. It is on its way here to the off-grid garage, and once this is there, we get this installed. And then I probably don't use the Bitcoin miner anymore because, well, it sits in the garden toilet, right? The door is closed, and at night, when I'm trying to have a good night's sleep in my bedroom, which is on the other side of the house, I can still hear the fans going up and down. My wife said she can't hear it, but I know exactly the sound of the fan spinning up and down. So if your neighbors are close by, mining Bitcoin is probably not an option at all, just because of the noise these things make. I think this one is like 75 decibel here, with a frequency of around 1.2 kilohertz. And of course the heat. The heat is also a big issue. Here in the garden toilet, I sometimes leave the door open during the day, because this small room heats up so quickly and you can get easily 45-50 degrees inside this room. And again, this is only one hash board in this machine. It is supposed to have 3 of them. That is 1.6 kilowatts. It is constantly pumping out. I've seen videos where people have multiple of these devices and they are heating up their whole house. But this was also a few years back when power was still cheap. Nowadays, with rising power costs, running such a Bitcoin miner is not economically anymore. And hence you can buy them used secondhand for relatively small money. Well, and this was exactly the test I wanted to do, seeing if it makes actually money, how much power does it use, how does it work, would it be an option for an off-grid system? Well, I guess if you hate your neighbors, definitely get one. Okay guys, I think so far this video from today, or better tonight, giving you some ideas how this Bitcoin mining works, how much power it uses and how much money it can make you. And as you can see, there's no black and white. It all depends on your situation, on your power usage, on your access you have available. If you can live with the noise and can get rid of the heat. But quite a few of you guys have asked for a while now because I mentioned Bitcoin mining from time to time. Especially now in summertime, I've got just too much power. Yeah, hopefully soon we find a better alternative for that. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your amazing support here on the channel. Thanks to your donations, I could calibrate an ice cold spat. And until the next video guys, you stay charged, stay safe, and thanks again for watching. See you then, bye bye. $1.35. It's not bad at the moment.